Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open in Troma City, California with Johnny Whitecloud arriving home after doing hard time. He finds his tribe's ancestral burial ground has become a pasture for grazing tourists, so he goes straight to the gun shop. The salesman pushes a Colt 45 which he calls a real people shooting gun, but Whitecloud also wants the pump action. He tells the guy to throw in 20 boxes of Magnum shells for hunting rabbits, of course, when the town's corrupt sheriff comes walking up. Tex killed Johnny's brother in a pretty epic showdown but claims it was only in self-defense and tells the other Whitecloud to leave town before he also gets self-defended. Instead, Johnny goes down to his brother's grave cave, who was buried right on the beach he was murdered on, and vows to avenge him. Meanwhile, a group of unrelated mercenaries have set up camp on the outskirts of Troma City and are training for a revolution. They call themselves Fortress of Amerikkka, with 3 Ks to be edgy and kill anyone unlucky enough to exist in the same vicinity. The police perform investigations into these roadside executions, but they're quite the backwoods simpletons.
Fortress of Amerikkka.
We're shown on multiple occasions Commander Denton and his bloodthirsty soldiers of fortune attacking random citizens. He tells one pensioner that it's simply business, but then rips him in two between his car and a tree, which feels a bit personal. Some locals take a photo of Team Amerikkka playing Genghis Khan, then try to get it to the public, but nobody makes it out of these woods alive. One is jumped on by a soldier who apparently forgot he has a fully loaded machine gun because the other reporter picks it up and shoots him. Unfortunately, she's shot with a crossbow and killed, while the other's blown up with a good Samaritan that tries picking him up. Despite the chaos going on outside of town, people keep throwing away their lives to go camping, as there must be something in the water. A young couple are fooling around where Team Amerikkka hang their white hoods, so some douchebags come by to ruin their night. Sarge shoots the boyfriend while Bazooka beats the girl, then they pile up the bodies inside the tent. They then blow it up, but I'm not sure if it's to dispose of evidence, because one of the half-wits remarks that he simply enjoys these moments. One of their new recruits voices his disgust of preying on innocent victims and is concerned of all the buff Europeans in their group. This doesn't fly with Denton, who has the mercenaries beat the crap out of him, then completely severs off his head. That'll teach him, and the next morning some dude named Jack comes upon what might be that murder or something completely different. Deputy Wilson says yep, it's a murder, but the sheriff takes over the conversation because this one looks like a good conversationalist. He warns Leslie that a militant group are out here playing war games, which would be most people's cue to leave the area. These two geniuses, however, set up camp right on the bullet shell covered beach with the real brains of their Operation Elizabeth. She wanders off with her boyfriend to go fool around in the bushes, but get captured by Team Amerikkka, who leave Leslie alone for whatever reason. Elsewhere in Troma City, Jennifer contemplates reconnecting with her ex-boyfriend Johnny Whitecloud. She currently has another man, mind you, but Peter is a lame duck who takes a slap to the face by begging for more. He listens to Jen confess that Johnny Whiteclouded on her when they were younger, and you can't just forget about first loves. Johnny sure seems to have, as he's given a bartender's room key and shows his appreciation by groping another woman. Yet another woman is all over the strongest pool player at the bar, but begins to kiss John because why the hell not? When recognizing him as the criminal from the news, she tells Big Boy to beat him up, but Johnny can hold his own. A full-scale brawl breaks out in which random patrons attack each other as well as cops, because Troma is full of crazy people. The bartender smashes a bottle over the Hulk's head to defend Johnny, but men here aren't averse to punching a Penelope. When he wakes up the next morning, Johnny leaves the bed of a completely different woman and goes down to the other cave. It turns out that Bazooka also got his launcher wet last night, so Team Amerikkka raid a motel to retrieve him. They shoot all of the threats like the woman and some random neighbor, then flee back to the fortress because freedom. The police speculate that this is the work of the bloodthirsty militia who keeps killing people in town, but they can't be certain. The sheriff learns from a mortician that Team Amerikkka used bullets that were made overseas, as the movie keeps hinting at them being a foreign force. During this time, Jennifer goes down to the cave and confesses her love for Johnny, but he's like, nah babe, I'm over you. She tells him the details of his brother's murder, as a few weeks ago Jimmy Whitecloud challenged the sheriff to a beach fight. There's no explanation for why Jennifer was there, but Tex used the pocket sand technique, which is super effective against eyeballs. He then beat Jimmy down and put a bullet in his back, so Johnny asks why she didn't file a police report. Realizing how silly that sounds with the sheriff being the shooter, they kiss and go to Jennifer's place for some lovemaking with the watches on. Meanwhile, in typical Team Amerikkka fashion, an unnamed bald chick tells a blonde girl to fight the brunette. There's some story about one being rude to the other, but it doesn't matter because Blondie gets strangled into defeat. Brunette's then ordered by Baldy to execute her because we don't tolerate losers in Team Amerikkka, and everyone praises her for the accuracy of a point-blank shot. One girl brings up concerns of violence to a lieutenant, but he's like, don't worry about it, my muscles will protect you. Then they bang on the floor beside a perfectly fine bed. Meanwhile, Johnny's returning from Jennifer's place and comes across a gun-toting Leslie broken down on the side of the road. She's cautious because her friends disappeared last night, so Johnny puts his thigh gap on display to show he's trustworthy. He knows nothing about cars and is just standing here, so offers Leslie a lift back to town in a truck that I guess he took from Jennifer's. They pull up at a gas station, but the grizzly bear that owns the place recognizes Johnny as that Indian guy the sheriff gave them permission to beat up. Multiple mechanics attack him while we keep cutting to the fan service that Leslie provides while reacting to the punches. Johnny loses to a donkey punch of all things, and the sheriff shows up like, alright, exactly how did this Indian start it? Leslie defends Johnny, saying that these hairy thugs attacked him first, so Tex has her arrested for conspiracy and thrown in jail. Meanwhile, Team Amerikkka come across two parentless kids collecting seashells by the seashore that she was going to try sell. Sarge shoots the boy when he tries to run, then taunts the girl for a little bit before shooting her as well because freedom. Even Denton's like, okay, that was a bit much, and gives the whole unit another day's homework as punishment. Sometime later, a woman credited as the Snake Mercenary does a little dance and swallows some sword, but only the flaming type. In another tent, the pair of German-speaking privates get their privates out on Elizabeth right in front of her boyfriend Jack. As they take advantage of the situation, he manages to escape and get a hold of a gun because these people can't tie knots. Nobody hears him shoot Hans and Fritz because they're too busy partying, and the couple escape into the forest. We get the strangest conversation when Elizabeth says she liked how the Mercs were groping her, and Jack says that's your right as an American. They then run until the sun rises, and Jack even manages to take out some so-called trained soldiers with his skills as a pizza delivery boy. He fires aimlessly into the forest, and later we see Jack lying dead beside Elizabeth in a side plot that went nowhere. Over at our characters who won't let us down, Jennifer holds up the police station while her ex breaks her current boyfriend out. Not sure why Peter's even here, but they also rescue Leslie and go back to Jen's house because it's the first place they'll look. While Leslie and Peter get it on because the script called for it, Johnny and Jenny argue about their current situation. Whitecloud says the half-Indian girl should understand the concept of revenge killing, so Jen says this isn't the time of peace pipes, but I beg to differ. They then run off to the cave for whatever reason, where Tex emerges from the shadows, having been waiting here for God knows how long. He challenges Johnny to a fight like his brother, but we don't get a second helping of pocket sand, and he just wins this one fairly. About to shoot him in the back and probably claim self-defense, the sheriff is suddenly killed by Team Amerikkka for absolutely no reason. They take the couple hostage and tie Johnny up with the same knot that everyone keeps escaping from while Jen is thrown in a hole. They have the biggest guard they could spare watch John, but somehow he escapes and returns to town, where I guess Wilson is now the sheriff. The racism seems to have died with Tex, so the town rally behind Johnny Whitecloud as he leads them to the Fortress of Amerikkka with 3 Ks. When they get there, Wilson the Wise struts into the middle of the compound going on about "you're all under arrest," so he's immediately and obviously shot to death. The whole town swarms the camp like a horde of zombies because most aren't armed, so they just overwhelm them with sheer numbers. It's a lot of chaos, with all of the mercs slowly being picked off, and somehow someone even drove a car here that he leaps out of before it explodes. The gas station owner comes across an injured Denton, so he gives him a lecture about harming innocent people coming from a guy that beats on Indians for fun. At least he kills the commander as the militia finally crumbles, but Johnny spent the whole battle searching through tents for Jennifer. He comes across G.I. Jane guarding her hole, so throws his knife into her throat like it ain't no thing and exhumes the love of his life. Peter manages to kill Sarge, and Jen cheerfully says the corny sign-off line about being friends while people are being slaughtered around them. They blow this place quite literally, and we jump to Mr. Whitecloud's day in court, where he's found innocent of murder and all the other stuff. Leslie is now their friend since her others were murdered, and the narrator says that powerful men threaten the Bill of Rights every day. His summary is that the little guys can unite to destroy the corruption, but we never actually know if anyone survived. And the movie ends.